I was getting ready to start the stream and I checked to see, make sure I got some water in there. There's stuff, there's a little black floating thing in there. Oh, that's gross. So I darted off to clean that out. Okay, I have audio confirmation. One more. Was that it already? I'm not sure if I missed it. Okay, so I got to give me a thing here to confirm that. And still I didn't look. Okay, watch the audio indicator, Doug. Oh, no, you're not hearing SpeakerBot. All right, so I got to go fix that. Well, I'll show you where I fix it. Let's see. Yeah, I guess this would be a good way to do it. Right down here where it says SpeakerBot Audio. Click on that 3 dot and then Properties. And then drag this window down so you can seize it. Drop this window and see here where this SpeakerBot at the top is kind of grayed out. Well, that's the one that's not working. So I have to come down here and choose the new one. Because I don't know why. Just because. I said because. I said cuz. So that's because. Not cousin, but cuz. Now, SpeakerBot should be working, Brian. Let's see. I'll pause that and then put an exclamation mark Y and watch the audio.
Yes, affirmative.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Bobby.
You heard that. Ken Stout says, I can hear ugh just fine. Now, how lazy is that? Some people come up with nicknames for people whose names are too long for them to pronounce. The single syllable name Doug is too long for Ken Stout, so he has shortened it to Ugh. He will never figure this out. We can hear OUG just fine. Yeah, well, it was SpeakerBot that wasn't working. Oh, he thought I would never figure out the SpeakerBot issue. Yeah, you're wrong again. I have deployed, can I use that big word? Somebody's going to have to explain it to Ken. I have deployed the Nano KVM to a client's office. It is in service. So I have an update to give you about my experiences thus far with that. And I have a C# debugging demonstration, maybe, that I intend to use Gemini AI to see if it can fix a C# programming issue that I have. I think that's a fair way to say it. And let's see, I've got a video comment. I think I'll start with that video comment from Carrie Holzman right here. And from yesterday's show, says, I think the issue Martin Hogg had was he didn't click the mouse inside of the command window. So when he went to type, it appeared to him that the keyboard wasn't working. Now let's come over here to that message from Martin, because I thought, really? So I went back and looked closer at Martin's message. Regarding the above issue, that was the subject line says, yeah, I can show all of that. Windows 11, out-of-box experience install program. I am doing a clean install of Windows 11 on a laptop using a bootable USB, and this failed to accept the OOBE command. I keep pronouncing it correctly. He's leaving off the E on the end of it. When command opened using Shift F10 because the onboard keyboard would not accept any input. That was one problem. And an external keyboard was not accepted either, only on the command screen. Now, somebody in chat yesterday, I didn't see this until after the show is over. Somebody said, wait a minute. So the external keyboard Shift F10 worked, but typing in the command screen, the black command prompt screen, did not work. And I think that's probably what Carrie caught on to, is saying that, okay, once you do Shift F10, if you don't click on that screen, or maybe if you were on that screen, then you move your mouse away, maybe that screen goes inactive. And Carrie is saying that he thinks that that black command prompt screen was not active when Martin was trying to type in it with the external keyboard. So that's quite possible. However, your other command did work, provided that I waited until the network screen appeared. Now, on this piece, I made a comment yesterday that if you do that too soon, it won't work, and somebody in chat pushed back on that. Well, let me explain that a little bit further. I don't think you'll have, well, let's just, starting from a fresh install from a flash drive, and there's nothing on the hard drive, or even if there is on the hard drive, when you're going through the first steps of the installation, like the very first screen where it's asking you for the language, I think, well, that might not be the first screen if you're doing it from a flash drive. But before you get to the point of where you've selected the partitions, done whatever you're going to do with the partitions, after you've selected what partition to install on, then it installs all the files to that partition. That OOBE command, or even the start mscxh command, is not going to work until after those files are actually started on the hard drive. But you can do the Shift F10 prior to that. And that's where the OOBE is not going to work. So I don't know if that's how much further ahead that he was trying to do it. And then we already talked about that part about Windows 11. So thank you, Carrie. I think that could be right on point. Now, the next part of Carrie's, I got to push back a little bit on this because I'm not buying it. I'm not feeling you, man. He could have also made a Windows 11 installer using Rufus, so he doesn't need to create more unnecessary confusion with a process that he is unfamiliar with. I think it's probably safe to say that Martin Hogg is already not familiar with using Rufus, otherwise he probably would have used an install media that he had made with Rufus. To suggest that a person learn how to make the USB thumb drive with Rufus, which is not hard, but it is something different. To suggest to do that instead of learning to click inside the command prompt window before typing the command, that just rubs me wrong. That's like a medical treatment where the treatment is worse than the disease. So yeah, I got to push back on that. Now another thing, I gotta poke the bear a little bit to Carrie on this. Since he put the comment on one of my videos, I think he's given me license to respond. I remember a day, I'm sure I remember a day when Carrie was dismissive about Rufus. And now it kind of feels like he's a Rufus fanboy. Yes? Am I right? To suggest Rufus because instead of training someone to click in the command prompt window. I know I'm probably overreacting, but it's my honest reaction. So, oh, I forgot to do I forgot to do a link. All right. So I push the button and I do the thumbs up and heart, and then I'll paste the link in here, but I got to go back later and actually put a timestamp, so I'm not going to click reply right now. There's no other comments in here for me to respond to. The others are two things that I'm just holding on to for the sake of procrastination. Okay, update for whatchamacallit, for the Nano KVM. Take a quick glance at chat. Let's see. Martin Hogg has a question. No, you have not used your allocation this week. I did. Let's see. I have a question regarding Carrie's comment. No, I did click the mouse on that screen, but it was still inactive. All right. So clicking the mouse on the screen, you were still unable to type, even with the externally connected keyboard, the wired externally connected keyboard. Now, if you're referring here to the onboard keyboard of the laptop, then that's a different issue altogether. I thought that you were saying that even with, let's see, external keyboard was not accepted, but only on the command screen. So external keyboard was not accepted on the command screen after clicking on that command prompt screen. So you're still saying that that did not work, even under that circumstance. Okay, well, that's over and gone with. We can't do, he's past that point. Carrie has been using Rufus, I want to say, for about a year, more or less. Seems to me somewhere around a year, maybe a little more than a year since he got onto it. Yeah, you can ask your other question. I might carry it over till tomorrow. Apparently SpeakerBot forgot it's supposed to work. It's not? Really? You're saying SpeakerBot's not working? Oh, no, I turned off a couple things. Yeah. Exclamation mark R and Tiger and Princess and Wendy, Stormy, the people, the randoms. I turned all those off. I am making room for new development. Those have been with us long enough. You remember when I had the mini Dougs all around? Those are gone. You remember when I had the other Doug that would have show up behind me, bouncing a ball and doing other stuff? That's gone. What was it called? Invisible, transparent Doug, disappearing, something like that. I don't know. Yep, it's time for those to go bye-bye. They are gone. As in many things with my life, it's funny how many things in my life I have experienced the last instance of that event, but I didn't know that was going to be the last until later. Then I go back and yeah, it's gone. That was the last time I've ever done that experience. SpeakerBot does not mention read chat. Oh, is that not happening? Well, I'm going to try exclamation mark C.
Read chat, please.
That works. I heard it. I think I heard this one. Phil Stott, oh boy, new developments. Just do not make them features. Greg says, yes, my mistake. So let's see if
that's a big 10
see if I missed any. Control F, exclamation mark C. See if I've missed any. Yeah, we did cover that one. Go back to the first. Well, where is the first one? Oh, there it is. Yeah, see, those no longer show up in here. The exclamation mark R and T and whatever else. There's 3 of them that have been removed. Gonzo. Both failed, now fixed, thanks. Both failed, it's now fixed. I guess that's referring to the keyboards. Both keyboards failed on that command prompt, but the whole issue is gone, bye-bye. He's past that point. So we're not going to do any more with it. Okay, so we got all those. So I need to give you the nano KVM deployment into the field. Install it at the client's office. Is deployment too formal of a command? So yeah, I delivered it to the client's office. I gave my client an orientation because what we're going to do is They've bought 5 more of these B-Link low-end
Read
computers.
chat, please.
And get that in a little bit. So we're going to be configuring them. So I've got the first one connected, and I was at my client's office about 10 minutes to orient him to
Yes,
how
sir.
to connect these. So we have this connected in an equipment room with no monitor, no keyboard, no mouse, connected to the Nano KVM. Then I walked over to another computer and I showed my client, here's how I'm able to connect to it. So I am connecting to one of the other computers in their office using my log me and rescue. And from that other computer, I'm using the browser to connect to the local IP address of the Nano KVM. And then when I turned it on, when I powered it on at my client's office, I showed my client that it was at the language selection screen for the out-of-box experience from the manufacturer's installation of Windows 11 on that B-Link computer. I left it at that point. I explained to my client, I am not going to perform this Windows initialization. What I'm going to do is connect remotely, and I plugged in a Macrim Reflect flash drive, and I plugged in a second flash drive that has the backup image from their already in service B-Link computer that's the same model. So there's 2 flash drives connected to this. Then I came back here, and about 5 a.m. this morning, I connected remotely to one of their other computers, used the browser to browse to that address. It was still sitting on that language selection screen. From that point, I used Shift F10 to get to a command prompt. Remember, you can do that. You can use Shift F10 at an earlier stage. So I did Shift F10, get a command prompt. Then I used a shutdown command, shutdown space, and then a few parameters to cause the computer to restart into the advanced startup mode, where I could then select to boot from a USB device. I was offered the 3 USB devices to boot from. I was offered the flash drive that has Macrim Reflect. I was offered the flash drive that has the backup image. I was offered the storage drive that is built into the Nano KVM device itself. I selected the Macrim Reflect flash drive. So then it restarted, booted straight into that. I began with creating a backup image of the manufacturer's installation on that C drive, the manufacturer's installation before initializing Windows. So I made an image backup of that to the flash drive that has the backup image of the other computer. After that finished, I restored the backup image that was on that flash drive to this new computer. Now that was going to take a while to run, and that's where I left it. So my next update for you will be what happened after that. Since the backup image that I restored is from the same model computer, I will not have to deal with updating drivers. So I didn't actually do an export of drivers from this computer because I haven't actually initialized it. But I do have exported drivers already from the other B-Link computer. So after restoring that image, I'll be next working with it after hours. So there will be a conflict between this computer and the original computer because they will both have the same computer name. They won't have the same IP address because it's dynamic IP addressing, but if the first computer had a static IP address, then that would be of concern. It will be connected to the network automatically because I left it with the Ethernet connected. Then next, I will rotate the computer's SID, so it has a unique computer SID number. That's optional, but I am considering it just going to be part of my routine. I'm then going to disable the log me and rescue connection that's on that restored image because it will be claiming to be the same computer as the original computer. Because of the nano KVM, I will be able to disable that without losing my remote connection to that computer. Then at that point, I can establish a new remote connection for log me and rescue between that computer and Baby Beast. Then at that point, I can connect to that new computer through log me and rescue and continue the rest of my setup, which involves creating the user profile for the new user of that computer. Then I'll be connecting to their old computer, which is still in service, doing a FABS auto backup and a desktop OK image and a, let's see, there's another desktop icon capturing re-icon called re-icon. I think both of those were things I was turned on to by Zavi Manor. Then I can restore those to the new computer and then do a little testing, and that should be pretty close ready for a deployment. My client will unplug the computer and put it in service at the user's desk. And I already reviewed that process with him, and he's fine with it because he's a little bit of a technician in his own right. So that's the update. That's where I'm at with that. I like complicated, but yet this is I think a huge time savings over the full method of deploying a computer. Okay. Now let's get over here to what I'm delinquent on. I wanted to get through that whole thing before interrupting. Control F, exclamation mark C, use the up arrow key. There's a Greg M without anything. Oh, here. With the nano KVM, can you also simply remote into the KVM without using the local PC at the location? Yes, I can if I set up their cloud support for that. I didn't choose to do that because my need of the nano KVM will be kind of short, because once I can get to a point where I can use my log me and rescue, I'd rather do that because it is much easier to work with. The nano KVM working within a browser window, I don't like that so much. There are some downsides to that. Jet KVM uses theirs, although if I'm not going through the local computer, yeah, I could. So if I set up their account, I'm sure it would be better, but I already have log me and rescue. There's no point for me recreating the wheel and adding that one extra element of internet exposure. Jet KVM uses their server to allow you to connect to a remote Jet KVM console. So yes, I could. I have not explored that piece of it. I'm a little bit reluctant to, since I've had a couple things with the device already that did not work very smoothly. Okay, going to the prior one. Martin Hogg's question. And thank you for that question, by the way. Do I have points for asking an interesting question? Because that's an interesting question. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not going to spend long on this. That's not bringing a technical issue. Yeah, I'm going to let go of that. That's just getting too deep to try to do points for that. But thank you for that. In Windows 11, here's Martin's question. I am trying to uninstall Remote Desktop, but it fails to uninstall and returns an error message, which I can send by email, or have you experienced? I have not tried to uninstall Remote Desktop. I think it is, I disagree, and I know this is something Carrie's big about, so there may be some disagreement there. I think that's pointless to uninstall Remote Desktop. Somebody from outside of your router they're not going to be able to access remote desktop on an individual computer unless they've already breached your router. And then to try to breach remote desktop on a user's computer within my client's offices, boy, that's just that's just
Read chat, please.
hypochondriac imagination. No. And to uninstall such a tightly integrated element of Windows, I think that I think that's pointless. I just cannot see that or condone it. Let's see what is that last read chat. Yeah, disable. It would be fine. Just disable it, not uninstall it. There might be more to it in a features. Let's see if we go appwiz.cpl, if you really insist. Over here on turn features, Windows features on or off, is there something in there about and I know there are people all over the internet that say you should disable it or whatever, and they're all up in arms about it. And I think it's hypochondria. It's just way overkill. But I'll humor that a little bit. Let's see. User session expired. Let's not do it on that one because I want to save that. Gemini. Let's do a new window. So I'm going to take that off screen while I bring up my clipboard history because I'm not sure what's in there. Yeah, it's okay. Let's see what Gemini says. Yeah, I'm not going to read through all that. I'm not going to read it out loud, I mean. But this is kind of given the idea that you should be able to accomplish that. Yeah, we could pursue that a little bit tomorrow if you're really interested or if there's other people interested. But personally, I don't think it is. Now, I didn't get to the troubleshooting of the C# code. I think I'm going to hold that off till tomorrow. But I will give this comical thing here. I've been doing a lot with AIs, as you know. Copilot, Gemini, ChatGPT I haven't used for a little while. And I use AI with some other things. I've used it with some software products, but let's just go on this. I was working with Gemini yesterday for some Photoshop stuff that I wanted to do a Photoshop project, and it kept, I would tell it that doesn't work, and it would say, oh, sorry about that, and it would give me the same instruction again. So this is, here I want to show you a little bit about what's been going on with my conversations with AI. Please. Rand Israel, I'll come back to your comment. It said, this is me speaking to Gemini. You are wrong. Just stop stubbornly holding on to something that does not work. If you will look closer, you will notice that when line 2 is selected, it has a blue frame all the way around the image, and that is a shape that is forming the frame that masks the image. Need the left side of the, sometimes voice to text drops out a word. Need the left side of that frame expanded to the left. Telling me to select the image, you are wrong. Again, there's some speech to text there that was incorrect. And it responds, you are absolutely right. And I apologize for stubbornly holding on to the wrong assumption. My apologies for misinterpreting the function of line 2 and for the frustration that caused. You've identified the key problem correctly. Line 2 is the shape that's acting as the frame or mask for your image. Now, don't get hung up in the topic that I'm talking about. The point here is that AI can not only be wrong, but when you point out its wrongness, it can continue with the same thing, and you've got to get harsh with it, like you're speaking to a teenager. It just blows me away how stupid and yet helpful these AI chats are being. It's been very, very helpful, but comical in how stupidly wrong it can be. And that's just one example. That's kind of a technical example. Some have been very obvious and silly. Okay, now let me get back to the read chats. No need to uninstall, just disable if not needed. I thought there was another one after that, because I've already seen that one. I've already acknowledged it. I thought there were 9 of them out here. Well, maybe not. Greg. I hadn't got, yeah, I did get to Greg's. There's been something else since then. Did that. Did that. Did that. That. Did somebody put
Read chat,
another
please.
read chat and then delete it? I see this here, but I'm trying, somebody else said something else. Did they remove their comment? I saw somebody said, see my comment at such and such time. All right, well, I don't know what happened to that. If there's something still there that I'm not seeing, please help me. Help me, Mr. Wizard. Guide me.
Read chat, please.
928, Ran Israel. Okay, 928, that's what I missed. Let's see, for Ran Israel, 928. Doug time. And I'm assuming it's Ran Israel. My comment, 928, your time. This is 928, my time. Are you punking me? There is no other Ran Israel comment at 928. That's the only one. 926, is that what you mean? I bet that's what you meant.
Read chat, please.
Yeah, he says, sorry, 926. Yeah, how come I didn't find that when I went searching for these? Whatever. I don't know. Start, run, system properties remote.exe. Okay. Start, run, system properties remote.exe. I should have copy and pasted that. Yeah, just remove that check mark and don't allow remote connections to this computer. That's not the same as uninstalling remote desktop. This is just disabling them. And what was that? The original question, wasn't that Martin? It was a read chat. Yeah, because here's
Read chat, please.
Yeah, no need to uninstall, just disable. But the question as presented was trying to uninstall remote desktop. It fails to uninstall, returns an error message. Where are you even trying to uninstall it? Is there a remote desktop in here? Oh, this one here, remote desktop connection. So I guess this is what you're trying to uninstall. Yeah, if it's not uninstalling, just don't do it. But it fails to uninstall, returns an error message which I can send. Yeah, you can send it by email. I have not experienced it because, like I say, I'm not trying to do that. Martin, okay, I haven't yet had the chance to troubleshoot the topic. Thanks anyway. I appreciate the fact that you don't block comments. That I don't block comments. Okay. You haven't had a chance to troubleshoot the uninstall. I don't know what blocking comments has to do with that, but all right, I guess we're happy. Yeah, you can get AI to re-examine its output, always. You should always expect to do that. Check up on it. Don't trust it. Trust but verify, maybe we'll say. That's where to disable is sufficient. Absolutely. I think it's disabled by default. Okay. I'm planning a normal show time for tomorrow, unless something crops up to prevent it. Here's Carrie's show that I have a redirect to. This looks like an interesting build. When I first looked at it, I thought, well, I don't see that there's RGB there, but Oracle Raceline Neon, that sounds like RGB. It's just not lit up right now, I guess. Integrated LCD screen. Unbelievable. I caught this. These little, I guess these are little screenshots of its screen display.
Chat, please.
Maybe it's on this piece right here. I don't think it's on the front because I can see the fans. Maybe it's down here. But notice this one right here where Mara snuck in her logo right in here on this screenshot of whatever that integrated LCD screen is. I can't make out that one that's concealed there. Martin Hogg, that's the wrong way to ask for points. It's just exclamation mark, then the word points. Don't do a C. There's no point to doing the C. Just like Chevy did it here. This is just a waste and a nuisance. Randy Israel says, remote desktop has been updated over the years. Manually removing the update and leaving an obsolete background service is worse than simply remove. I absolutely agree with that. That's removing this debloating stuff of going in and trying to remove stuff that's just part there, that's just there as part of the Windows operating system, I think is inviting trouble. It is not. Those things are not slowing down your machine. And like remote desktop, it is a security risk to enable it and open ports on your router that allows people from the outside to get into your network, because then that remote desktop on that computer is vulnerable. And also, if there are people inside your local network who you don't trust, meaning you don't want them walking up to your computer when you've walked away to the break room because you don't trust them to that extent, then you don't want to have remote desktop enabled even if your router is adequately closed off to the outside. You have no open ports. But just disabling the remote desktop, that's enough. Yeah, if you go uninstalling these integrated elements, that could cause you trouble down the road because that is not supported by Microsoft. Somebody might nail me on this. I don't know because I haven't researched this first, but the videos that are out there for debloating Windows that goes in and uses various utilities to rip the guts and the innards out of Windows, that is not supported by Microsoft, meaning when they do updates, they don't take into account the possibility that your computer has removed those elements that those updates expect to be there. There are some things that updates expect to be there, even if you're not using them. So ripping out the innards of Windows is not a good idea. If you're going to do it on your computer, not your clients, not your friends, not your relatives. It's not going to give them any improvements of note. All right. Step off the soapbox, Douglas. Oh my gosh, was that my mother? Oh, Tim, comments about my jacket. This is the first time for this jacket on air. I've had it for years. And the reason why I put it on is because it's a little cool in here. And so I went to grab a cardigan, a Mr. Rogers style cardigan. Yes, I have several of them. I've never worn them on show because I know what kind of heat that I would take. But I had this shirt on and I can't wear a cardigan on top of this shirt. This is my Young Eagles shirt. This is from back when I was really involved with EAA and we would take kids for free airplane flights. And this was a shirt. I just could not bring myself to put a cardigan on over this. So then I considered my other brown bomber jacket that you have seen before. And then I realized, oh, I have this one. So I tried that one on. And it's pretty heavy to just pick it up and hold it, but wearing it, it's really not that heavy. Doesn't feel that heavy. Gary Weisenberger comes in with an orange comment.
Read chat, please.
To disable, elevate yourself to trusted installer. Okay, that sounds like an answer to Martin's if he really wants to pursue it. Elevate yourself to trusted installer, then delete term server.dll, because that's what that is, a terminal services. Right? I said that right. LOL, then your computer cannot accept remote desktop connections. LOL, LOL, and break Windows. Okay. I don't think Gary is, maybe he's not actually suggesting to do this. Maybe this whole thing was a joke. Elevate yourself. I'm gonna poke a little bit of fun at. Look, we enjoy poking fun at typos. Okay, it's not an actual criticism. Yeah, trusted installer is a higher level than admin. You think you're the boss when you're admin on your computer? Oh, no. There are other levels lurking out there, concealed. How come this screen is locked up? I can't scroll anywhere because I know there's more comments in here. There we go. Trust installer, super God mode administrator. Yeah, there we go. All right, get out of here. I already told you what you need to know. There's the email address you can send questions. I do have a couple of emails that are held off till tomorrow.
Read chat, please.
Because they weren't needed. For today, somebody's giving me a read chat right at the end. Really? And because I got to wait for it to show up on screen. Point taken from Martin Hogg. However, surely MS shouldn't show it on the apps list and show an uninstall menu item rather than graying it out as in some Xbox. Yeah, good point. Your point is taken well. So to have it on the installed programs list and then not letting you uninstall it, That's a good point. That's a fair point. And I'm not sure how, I don't even know for sure
Read
what
chat,
this
please.
guy is. Is that actually the same thing? It implies that it is, but I don't know. Another read chat. What is it? Another from Gary? That is the one from the Microsoft Store. You need Revo. So is there, this is the one from the Microsoft Store. So that would imply that there's actually a remote desktop app over here. If I go to the R's. No, not there. We might try uninstalling that from one of these new computers that we can mess around with tomorrow. Go, Doug. Just hit the
Read
button.
chat,
Don't
please.
talk in. No, 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 no. I'm not going to read chat again. No, not.
That's all, folks.
Tune in 6 days a week for Windows support, the help you seek. Send an email, leave a comment, join the chat. Our tech-savvy crew is where it's at. Not just me, but a whole community, helping you solve tech mysteries. With friends who are here almost every day, we love to chat and help you find your way. So subscribe now, be part of the team, for Windows support and more than you've dreamed. Join the fun, don't miss a single stream. At LiveWindowsTraining-DougBetts or simply where tech support supreme. Where tech support supreme. Tune in 6 days a week for Windows support, the help you seek. Send an email, leave a comment, join the chat. Our tech-savvy crew is where it's at. Not just me, but a whole community, helping you solve tech mysteries. With friends who are here almost every day, we love to chat and help you find your way. So subscribe now, be part of the team.